Kiara Monroe could never have imagined that her life would change in a single night. One moment, she was balancing long university hours with a tiring part-time job as a waitress, barely making ends meet. The next, she would find herself crossing paths with one of the most powerful men in the country. She had never dreamed of fame, wealth, or attention. All she wanted was to survive, to learn, and to honor the promise she had made years ago on her father's sickbed. Kiara grew up in Atlanta with her mother, a strong and determined woman who had lost her husband when Kiara was very young. Her mother had promised her late husband on his deathbed that she would raise Kiara and her little brother to be educated, independent, and prepared to face the world. Education, she often said, was the only inheritance they could truly count on. That promise shaped every decision Kiara made growing up. Intelligent, curious, and ambitious, Kiara had always been fascinated by the world beyond what she had known in Atlanta. She loved learning about different countries, cultures, and how governments and media worked together to shape what the world saw. This love for knowledge naturally drew her to study international public relations, a field that blended her passion for communication, diplomacy, and understanding how people perceive truth. She had chosen this path because, from a young age, she had seen how misinformation could destroy lives. She wanted to learn how to tell the truth, protect people, and help others navigate a world where perception often mattered more than reality. Studying in Korea was a dream she never thought she could afford, until her late father's brother, her uncle, stepped in. Her uncle had moved to Korea years ago after marrying a Korean woman and had built a stable life for his family. He had connections at a prestigious university willing to offer Kiara a partial scholarship, giving her a chance to study what she loved while exploring a country she had always wanted to experience. Kiara and her mother had discussed the opportunity long into the night. Her mother had seen the exhaustion and struggle in her daughter's eyes and wanted her to have a chance at a better life, to grow, to thrive, and to see herself as more than her circumstances. Moving to Korea wasn't just about studying. It was about breaking the limits of what Kiara had always known, about stepping into a world of possibilities her mother had dreamed for her since the day she promised her late husband that she would raise strong, educated children. After months of hard work, endless applications, and late nights perfecting her essays, Kiara finally received the news that changed everything. She had earned a partial scholarship to study international public relations at one of the most respected universities in South Korea, a place known for shaping leaders, diplomats, and media experts. It had not been easy. The paperwork alone felt endless, from visa applications to recommendation letters and transcripts, but her determination never wavered. Her uncle had been a lifeline during this process. Not only did he guide her through the complicated relocation steps, but he also helped support her financially, covering the costs she couldn't manage on her own, from initial plane tickets to settling into her new life. Arriving at her uncle's house, Kiara quickly realized that life there came with rules. She was welcome, but only temporarily. She had to contribute to the household in small ways, respect her cousin's space, and learn to take care of herself in ways she hadn't before. Even the simplest things, like budgeting her personal needs, planning meals, and managing her laundry, fell on her shoulders. To her uncle, this was a lesson in independence. To Kiara, it was a challenge she accepted gratefully, determined not to overstay her welcome. Adapting to a new country was far from easy. The language classes were difficult, the professors strict, and the culture unfamiliar. There were times she felt isolated, lonely, and overwhelmed by the weight of expectations. On top of that, she had to work to make ends meet. She found a part-time job at a classic and elite restaurant, not because she needed prestige, but because her poise, confidence, and calm demeanor had earned her a place among the servers there. Every tip she earned went straight to her books, her small rent contribution, a little money sent home to her mother, and her personal savings to ensure independence. Kiara never chased luxury or attention. She never sought romance. All she wanted was stability, the ability to live a life she could be proud of, and the chance to stand in rooms filled with power and influence, not as an outsider, but as someone worthy of being seen. She loved her job because it placed her in exactly that world. She served influential people, politicians, and powerful leaders, learning how they moved, spoke, and carried themselves, all while she maintained her own dignity and grace. It was a world she had always dreamed of observing from the inside, never knowing that one night, her life would take a sudden turn. One evening, as she balanced trays with her usual poise and attention, she could not have guessed that the very man whose life and influence seemed untouchable would soon cross her path. The night would bring chaos, fear, and a chance encounter that would forever alter the course of her quiet, disciplined life. A meeting with a man whose power could change everything for her in ways she had never imagined. Minister Han Joon-seok was a man everyone in Seoul thought they knew. Tall, sharp, and commanding, he carried an air of confidence that few could challenge. But those who really knew him understood that his life had been shaped from a young age. In school, he had been a natural leader, always organizing student councils, debating fiercely, and earning the respect of teachers and peers alike. His father, a respected government official, had guided him into politics, teaching him the balance between strategy and integrity. By his late 20s, he had risen quickly through the ranks, earning a reputation as one of the youngest and most promising politicians in the country. At the time, he held a high-ranking ministerial position, overseeing national infrastructure and development programs. His dedication, intelligence, and fairness had earned him widespread support. Now the president was considering him for an even higher post, a promotion that would place him among the most powerful figures in the government. Many supported him, believing he could bring progress, transparency, and reform. But his rise also stirred envy and fear. Powerful rivals, threatened by his rapid ascent, had begun plotting against him. Han Joon-seok had already lost much in his life. Years ago, his wife had been killed in a carefully planned assassination. Since then, he had feared love, convinced that anyone he cared for would be put in danger. That fear shaped his every decision. Yet it did not stop him from fighting for the helpless, the voiceless, and the nation's future. One night, after leaving a late strategy meeting about his potential promotion, the danger became real. Assassins had found him. The attempt was sudden and precise, leaving him injured, weak, and desperate to escape through the quiet streets. Every step was painful. Every breath a struggle. He knew that slowing down meant death. That same evening, Kiara Monroe was walking home from her night shift at the restaurant. The streets were mostly empty, and the chill of late winter brushed her face. She had chosen a shortcut toward her uncle's house, unaware that fate had placed a man in her path. She saw him first as a blur in the shadows, struggling to breathe, clutching his side. Her heart raced, but instinct took over. Quietly, she guided him into the shadow of a small alcove beside a closed shop, using her coat to shield him from view. She whispered instructions, steady and firm, making sure he stayed hidden as the figures hunting him passed by further down the street, calling out, searching for him. The first time that night, he could breathe without fear, hidden by a stranger's courage. And in that quiet, tense moment, neither of them could have imagined that this encounter would mark the beginning of a life neither had planned. A night that would change Kiara's life forever and lead her to a man whose power and influence could shape the course of her future in ways she had never dreamed. Kiara's heart was racing as she carefully guided Han Joon-seok through the empty streets. Every shadow, every distant footstep made her tighten her grip on his arm. "Just a little further," she whispered, her voice steady, even as her chest ached from worry. "I know a place where you'll be safe." By the time they reached her uncle's house, the minister was pale and trembling. Her uncle, seeing the urgency in Kiara's eyes, immediately stepped in. "We need to get him to the hospital now," he said firmly, already calling ahead and arranging transport. Kiara helped steady Han Joon-seok as they lifted him into the car. "Don't try to talk," she murmured. "Just focus on breathing." The ride to the hospital was tense but quiet. Han could barely speak, but when he finally caught a glimpse of Kiara's worried face, he managed a faint, grateful smile. "Thank you for not leaving me," he whispered. By the time the medical team took him inside, cameras had already caught the scene. Pictures of Kiara holding him, showing concern, went viral almost instantly. By morning, the news had exploded. Headlines screamed across every channel, "Minister survives attack, thanks to brave young woman." Social media was ablaze. Political parties were in chaos. Supporters gathered outside the hospital, cheering and demanding justice. Others rioted, blaming whoever they thought was behind the attack. Han Joon-seok woke hours later, groggy and in pain. His father, who had rushed in upon hearing the news, stood by his side. "Everything is out of control," his father said gravely. "The news, the pictures. Everyone is talking about her, the girl who saved you." Han looked at Kiara, who had stayed outside the ward, pacing nervously. The fear in her eyes reminded him of why he had always kept his heart guarded. But now, guilt washed over him, She had risked everything for him, and he knew the world would not be kind to her. "I can't let her get hurt because of me," he said quietly to his father. "Keeping her close, making sure the victory is ours. It's the only way." That evening, after the hospital had quieted down and reporters were held at a distance, Han Joon-seok invited Kiara to a private room. She looked at him nervously, unsure what to expect. "I know this is sudden," he began, his voice steady but gentle. "You've risked everything for me. You shouldn't have, but you did. I don't want you to be in danger just because of me." Kiara's eyes widened. "I want you to stay by my side," he said softly. "As my wife." Kiara froze, her mind racing. She hadn't expected this. Not tonight, not like this. But she could see the sincerity in his eyes, the weight of his decision, and the care he had for her safety. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she just looked at him, her heart pounding, realizing that her life had changed forever. Outside the window, the city slept unaware of the quiet, life-changing decision being made inside the hospital room. Inside, two worlds had collided, and neither of them would ever be the same. And as Kiara took a slow breath, the scene faded, leaving a question lingering in the air. Would she say yes?
Hello everyone, thank you for watching that story. I hope you liked it. Part 2 comes out next week, so please look forward to it. If I just see my channel for the first time, don't forget to like, subscribe and share to your friends and loved ones to watch. I still remain your favorite girl, Nye, all the way from Nigeria. Thank you and bye bye.